Chapter 1. The Descent. The heavens roared, a symphony of fury as lightning tore the sky. From the edges of the ethereal realms, a small host of angels gazed downward, fixated on the world of mortals below. These were no ordinary angels. Known as the Watchers, they were a group appointed by the Most High to observe the affairs of humanity, to remain vigilant but unseen, and to never interfere. They hovered in the unseen realms, steadfast in their duty, until a single moment of temptation changed everything. Semyaza, their leader, was the first to speak, his voice a thunderclap in the minds of his companions.
Look at them, fragile yet beautiful. How they walk the earth, free from the constraints that bind us here. Tell me, brothers, do you not feel the desire to know as they do? To live, to experience?
The others murmured in agreement. Azazel, powerful and curious, stepped forward.
Why should we not descend? Why should we not partake in the pleasures of the earth? We could be their guides, their teachers.
His words planted a seed of rebellion that grew quickly. One by one, the Watchers, led by Semyaza, Azazel, and a host of others, like Barakijal and Armaros, pledged an oath in secrecy. They would descend to Earth, taking on human form and finding the pleasures they'd so long observed. Chapter 2. The Binding Oath. The Watchers gathered on the highest peak of Mount Hermon, a dark, ominous place untouched by any man, where they sealed their fate. They each spoke the words of a binding oath, swearing that none would turn back, none would betray the others, and all would partake in this forbidden journey. As the oath was completed, the mountain itself trembled. Shadows stretched long across the land as they shed their heavenly forms, choosing instead bodies of flesh and bone, resembling men but more beautiful and more terrible than any creature before them. And thus began the journey of the fallen. They walked among men, giants in spirit and form, and soon found the daughters of humanity. Each of them desired to know the women of earth, and their desires gave birth to strange offspring, creatures that combined the strengths and wits of angels with the fierce resilience of humanity. These were the Nephilim, giants in both stature and power, who grew to dominate the land. Chapter 3. The Gifts of Forbidden Knowledge. Azazel, consumed with ambition, was the first to offer the mortals gifts they were never meant to have. He taught the men to forge weapons, showing them the secrets of iron and fire, giving them knives, swords, and shields. War spread like wildfire as men turned against each other, wielding these instruments with savage fury. The other Watchers followed suit, bestowing secrets upon humanity, wisdom too potent and dangerous to be contained within mortal minds. Barakijal taught them the signs of the stars and the ways to read omens. Tamiel introduced men to the mysteries of the earth, knowledge that gave birth to greed and bloodlust as men sought to control every corner of their world. Armaros, known as the Keeper of Forbidden Magic, unveiled the secrets of enchantments. Humanity was now capable of calling forth powers from darkness, weaving spells, and channeling forces they could not comprehend. The spirits of the fallen began to invade their thoughts, turning men's hearts darker with every incantation. The heavens looked down in sorrow and rage, watching as the earth began to spiral into chaos, scarred by the hubris of angels and the weaknesses of men. The Nephilim, these monstrous children of the Watchers, grew in stature, with hearts of stone and strength surpassing even the fiercest of warriors. Soon their towering figures became legendary, and men worshipped them as gods, offering sacrifices and following them into battle. Chapter 4. The Blood of the Innocent. With every passing year, the Nephilim grew more brazen. The Watchers looked on as their own children turned the earth into a playground of cruelty and power. They devoured the flesh of men, drinking blood and feasting on fear. The cries of the innocent rose to the heavens, a dreadful symphony of suffering. Semyaza watched his children with hollow pride and deep regret. He saw the horrors he had helped unleash, but found no way to turn back. Desperation gnawed at him, yet he could not bring himself to abandon his fallen brethren or their monstrous offspring. The archangels Michael, Raphael, Gabriel, and Uriel were finally sent from the heavens, tasked with cleansing the earth and restoring balance. Michael descended in radiant fury, his sword a burning light, and sought out the Watchers in their hiding places. One by one, he and his brothers hunted them down. The Watchers scattered, desperately trying to evade their punishment, but there was no escape. Bound by chains forged from the stars, each fallen angel was cast into the darkness beneath the earth, imprisoned until the final judgment. Semyaza and Azazel, once proud leaders, now lay in the abyss, their cries echoing through the void. Chapter 5. The Cleansing. As the Watchers were bound, the earth was still far from healed. Their offspring, the Nephilim, had ravaged the lands, leaving humanity in ruin. The archangel Raphael was commanded to cleanse the world of these twisted creations. With a voice like thunder, he summoned floods and storms, mountains crumbled and seas rose, swallowing the lands whole. The Nephilim tried to flee, their strength no match for the fury of the heavens. Their cries filled the air, guttural and haunting, as they perished beneath the waves. The spirits of these giants, however, would linger, becoming dark presences that haunted the earth long after their bodies had turned to dust. In the aftermath, as the waters receded, humanity emerged from hiding, battered and broken, but free of the Watchers' influence. Their memories of these creatures faded with each generation, eventually becoming myths and legends, stories told in whispers and half-forgotten tales of giants, fallen angels, and forbidden knowledge.